Day. Today we'll learn more about the Michigan Department of State's licensed restoration clinics. I would like to begin by sharing MRS's vision and mission. So the mission of MRS is to develop customized workforce solutions for businesses and individuals with disabilities. The vision, a diverse and inclusive workforce that unites businesses and individuals with disabilities toward a common good. Before we get started, I want to review a few housekeeping tips with you. First, we have muted your microphones and turned off your camera options to prevent accidental disruptions. Second, captioning is available by clicking the Show Captions button in the Zoom webinar. Please ask questions using the Q&A feature inside the Zoom webinar. Questions will be addressed during the Q&A session at the end. I would like to take this time to introduce our speaker for today's event, Keela Crane, Deputy Legal Director with the Michigan Department of State, who will be speaking about the road to restoration clinics, how to sign up, and how agencies can partner with clinics across the state. Welcome, Ms. Crane. The floor is yours.
Excellent. Thank you so much. And thank you to our friends at the Department of Labor and Economic Opportunity for allowing us to be here with you all to talk about our Road to Restoration clinics and how we can work in collaboration with Leo, as well as many of the community partners that are also here with us to ensure that all Michiganders understand what they need to do to get their license restored and hopefully get that done successfully. So the objectives of our discussion here today is three things. One, what are the Road to Restoration clinics and what do we seek to accomplish at our clinics? How Michiganders who need to come and see us can sign up for the clinics and to participate. And then how agencies like Leo can help partner with us in our clinics across the state. So what was the purpose of the clinics? So we, in 2020, the Michigan legislature created the Clean Slate to Drive laws, and those went into effect in October of 2021. The purpose of those was to reduce the types of violations, particularly non-moving violations, that were suspending people's licenses. Or subjecting them to potential jail time. So they moved them from being misdemeanors to civil infractions, and then removed some of those violations for not being able to suspend a person's license. But in the course of that, we wanted to ensure that Michiganders who were impacted by the Clean Slate to Drive laws knew of what opportunities they may have to regain their driver's license, and how to make sure that if they had additional questions, they will be able to reach out to the department. But in the course of the past few years, what we have found is that many residents don't understand how to regain their driving privileges, whether or not they were impacted by the Clean Slate to Drive laws. And as you all know, and as we know here at the Department of State, we are a driving state. You need a car and a valid driver's license to get to work or to even be employable, to be able to take your kids to the doctor or yourself, or to just enjoy all that Michigan has to offer. We don't have a robust public transportation system in our state. And so being able to have a valid driver's license is crucial to our personal economy, as well as our state and our community's economy. So what we do at the clinics is that we're able to provide individualized consultation to residents about their drive-in record and what the steps they need to take in order to get their license restored. We know many of you all go to our local branches across the state and inquire about this information, but our colleagues in our branch offices just don't have the luxury of time to explain in depth your driving record. But that is what we're able to do at the clinics. So we have MDOS staff as well as volunteer attorneys that will review the driving records and give folks information based upon 3 different outcomes. Either they have to pay fines or fees to the court. Usually traffic violations are land you in the district court. And that's usually because you have a suspended license. We might tell you that you have to wait until you're eligible in order to regain a license and then pay fines or fees of court. We call that here app denial. That means that you've never had a license or a temporary instruction permit. You drove and got 2 violations, and under current law, that will prevent you from being eligible to obtain a license for 3 years. The last bucket of outcomes for residents is that they may have to go through the MDOS administrative hearing process. And that is typically because they have a driving while under the influence or a driving while impaired violation, commonly known as drunk driving, or you have habitual violations, you've gotten too many issues, and so you're in a revoked status. So again, just the history of our clinics. We had our first clinic in 2022 in Dearborn, and the first year we ended in Detroit in 2022 in November. Last year, we began in Saginaw in March, and we ended in Dearborn in November, actually on the same day, which was funny for me when I kind of thought about that. This year, we began in March again, in Saginaw again, and we are still planning out our major clinics. And right now, we're looking to go through the middle part of October, because as you all know, and if you don't know, I will let you know, this is an election year. And the other part of what our department does is help administer and supervise the elections across the state. And we know this is a big election year, so making sure that we are able to put our best foot forward. We're ending our clinic season a bit early. And so what we find at the clinics that many residents may have wanted to have a license and may even be eligible to obtain their driver's license, but because of high costs, they just cannot afford to. What we see is that it creates a hamster wheel, that if you have gotten a violation for whichever reason. And sometimes in areas, we see that there are very close jurisdictions. So for example, I'm in the Ann Arbor area. If I go a mile east of me, I could be in Ypsilanti Township. If I go a couple of miles north of myself, I can be in Lodi Township. If I go a couple miles further, I could be in Scioto Township. Typically, each of those townships has a different district court that you are subject to. So if you get a violation in all of those different areas, that means that you have to go to those various district courts to pay those fines and fees. And when you don't have a valid license, again, as we talked about before, it makes you maybe unemployable, or it limits where you're able to get your income from. And so it just creates a hamster wheel that I can't afford to pay my fines and fees, which means I remain in the suspended status. And then you have late fees pile up. You might have court fees that pile up. And so it makes what might have been a $200 fine, which could be a big fine for a lot of people. Sometimes it blossoms into $1,000 or even more just because of this wheel. And then what also is a difficulty sometimes for residents to come to see us is that they need to get to us, right? And so we partner with many local community-based organizations to have the clinics. They're usually in churches or at our good friends at Michigan Works, help us to have our clinics in some of their offices. We're so grateful for our partnership with them, but they need to get to us. And some folks travel to us, their family or friends will drive them there. All of our clinics are on a bus line if they have public transportation in that area, but they have to have that assistance. So our friends at DTE Energy, along with the Canton Community Foundation, created the Road to Restoration Fund. And that fund is designed to help residents who are income limited be able to cover some of their fines and fees if that would provide them with their driver's license on the day of the clinic. And this is something that is a brand new part of our clinics that we're very excited about, because we know that for some residents that come to see us, it could be as simple as just that $45 driver license clearance fee to the court that is holding folks up from getting their license restored. And it's just nonsensical, right, that $45 to the court is preventing somebody from becoming employed or employable. We have to figure out how we can work together to help our residents. And that is the beauty of the Road to Restoration clinics. And our friends at DTE was the initial sponsor of the Road to Restoration Fund, and they currently are looking for more private sector partners as well as individuals to contribute to the fund so that we could help more Michiganders be able to legally get back onto the road, and thereby helping us all with having safe and credentialed drivers on Michigan's roads. So just wanted to let you know about all of the statewide organizing partners. The one that I didn't have on here is the one that's most important to you all at Leo, of course, is our Michigan Works Association partner. We just got them, and thank you to Ryan, the president and CEO of Michigan Works, just signed on as a state partner. But our other statewide partners are the Department of the Attorney General, Detroit Justice Center, the Michigan Association of United Ways, Miller Canfield Law Firm, particularly their Detroit office, and 211. Our partnership with 211 is important because we know that there is a technological divide, and some people may not have access to high-powered broadband, or some folks may not be comfortable navigating the internet. We see that a lot with our returning citizens population as well, that residents just may not be comfortable with utilizing the internet in order to sign up for our clinics. And so if you call 211, we have trained the 211 operators to go onto our website and fill out the application or registration, I should say, for residents to come and see us at the clinic. So we're really proud about our partnership with 211. So again, this is a partnership, and it's not just the Department of State alone. And I just want to highlight on this slide here that we have crisscrossed the state. We have worked with court administrators to be on site at the clinics with us, so that if residents have fines or fees with that particular court, they can pay those right there on site at the clinics. And that is so important, particularly for our residents that may have navigation limitations, that they don't have to go to the Secretary of State's office one day or to a court another day or talk to an attorney on yet a third day, that everybody crucial to their situation, for the most part, will be in one building. So you have the expertise of the attorneys and the Department of State. You have the Department of State's mobile office, which is basically the brick and mortar office on wheels right there. So if you need to take a driver's test, if you need to pay your reinstatement fee to the Secretary of State's office, or even if you just needed to update your address and get registered to vote, you can do that at that mobile office. And then lastly, of course, if you needed to pay fines or fees, or maybe you wanted to initiate a payment plan with the district court, you're able to do that right there on site at the clinic. And that has been a value add for many of our residents that come to see us. Another value add, of course, is the local partnerships that we've been able to cultivate over the past 3 years. Partners like the Kellogg Community College, the city of Battle Creek, of Kalamazoo, of Lansing, our friends at LinkedIn who provide they provide resume building expertise, as well as they will talk to residents about various jobs across their general area. So if residents needed to find another job or needed to find a better job, they're able to talk to the representatives from LinkedIn, and they're able to help them with that while they're waiting in line to see one of our staff here at the Department of State. We also partnered with the Marquette County Public Defender's Office. And so they were able to bring their attorneys to our clinic to help the residents there when we were on site in the UP. So as you can see, we have been in all areas of the state, and we're excited to do even more as we go into our 3rd year. So this is just a list of the host sites where we were in 2023, and we're super excited for 2024. And as we are completing out our major clinics, we also are excited to announce our mini clinics. And this is a great way for residents and community partners to work with us in order to bring the clinics to more smaller areas than we would be able to do for a full-size clinic. So let's just talk about numbers. So in our first year, as we were trying to figure everything out with the clinics, we split it up into 2 different rounds of the clinics. So as I stated earlier, we started in Dearborn and went around the state between like March and July. And then we added another round because it was so successful and people really wanted to engage with us. We went to Detroit, we went to Alpena and Traverse City and Benton Harbor. And so in the first year, we saw about 4,000 residents. And while, of course, not all 4,000, just really a margin of those were able to get their license restored because of many of the complicating factors that I talked about earlier. Many of our residents were excited that they understood what they needed to do to get their license restored, and in many times would follow up with us if they had additional questions. Last year was a marquee year for us in many different ways. As you can see, when we went to Detroit and Goodwill, we saw over 800 residents. The number is really probably higher than that, but 821 is what I can actually count from our exit interviews in our system. But we went for the first time to the Upper Peninsula. We went across the Upper Peninsula to Marquette, Escanaba, and Sault Ste. Marie, and we kept coming down, back downstate. So we traveled again for the 2nd year to Traverse City and Alpena, and going back to the city of Detroit. And we went to new places this year, last year, I should say, such as Battle Creek, Mount Pleasant, and Dearborn Heights. And we were really excited to continue to expand our reach and also see the incremental trajectory of the number of residents that are coming out to see us. And the hope is that the residents understand that we are not here to judge their driving record or them as a person, but we really just want to make sure that we can give them the information that they need so that they can get safely back on the road. As of last year, we know that there are over 180,000 residents that have suspended licenses. And those suspended licenses, for some people, could actually land those folks in jail. But most times it is just a fine penalty. They have to pay the fine to the district court and then pay the reinstatement fee back to our office. But again, that takes time to take care of that. There's about 150,000 people across the state that have revoked licenses. And that's again of September of 2023. And it is a much difficult road for them to go down because, of course, we want to ensure that the folks who are on our roads are not still drinking and driving, that they have either fixed any kind of alcoholism or dependency on narcotics that they may have had that caused the incident or the violation to occur. And once we know that they can do that in a safe manner, then giving them back the credentials that they need to be licensed drivers. Now, how does all of this help and benefit Michiganders with disabilities? So each of our clinics, as I stated before, are designed to be one-stop shops. Again, we know that some folks with disabilities may need to have all of their that information concentrated in one place so that you're not having to navigate multiple systems of government. It's just easier for everybody if you can have all the people that are important to you figuring out your pathway to restore your driving privilege in one location. And then also for some folks who may have a medically related suspension, we do often have our driver assessment team on site that can talk to you about how to complete that paperwork, how to request a reexamination in our office, so that team can determine whether or not you can have a credential to safely go back on the road. So people that may have traumatic brain injuries, people that may deal with seizure issues, or may have other epileptic problems that they need to talk to our team about how they navigate that, would go through our driver assessment team. Or for the first 3 years of obtaining a new license, everybody is on probation. And so if you may have had too many accidents in that first 3 years, then you may have to go to our driver assessment team just to make sure that you do fully understand the rules of the road. And then we would lift the suspension for you as well. And so for Michiganders with disabilities, we hope that the additional benefits of having the clinic on the bus line in a safe space, of course, because we are a state agency, we do ensure that it comports, with the Americans with Disabilities Act, so that all of our clinics are either on the first level or are in a building with an elevator, so that if a person is navigating the world in a wheelchair, that you're still able to come and see us as well. So that is all about our Road to Restoration clinics. I will just show you how folks can sign up to see us at the clinics, but would love to entertain any questions that folks may have.
We do have a couple of questions in the chat.
Okay.
The first one is, what if you have a warrant for your arrest?
So if you have a warrant for your arrest, well, two things. One, we do not have law enforcement on site at our clinics. We again want to make sure that this is a safe space. And so we do not have law enforcement on site at the clinics. The second thing is that we can send you to one of the volunteer attorneys, and they can talk to you about the warrant that you may have. They can also walk you through how to talk to the court about being able to present yourself at court to satisfy that warrant. Or in some cases, if the court in which you have a warrant is on site with us, they can extinguish that warrant and sometimes extinguish the warrant fee, and then schedule you for a time to come see the judge about that issue.
Thank you. And we have one more question in the chat right now. Do you have any mini clinics in Pontiac?
We don't yet, but we have been in discussions with some local organizations about coming back to Pontiac. We had a great time in downtown Pontiac in 2022 and are looking forward to coming back soon.
Are there any other locations planned for the UP other than Marquette? Marquette is quite a drive for some.
Yes, so we do have a clinic that is planned for Houghton in the same week that we'll be going to Marquette, which is August 14th. We are looking to also go to Iron Mountain right now. So that's what we have planned. We're also planning to go to St. Ignace. So that will be the fourth location if we can get that confirmed. But that visit for St. Ignace would be in July. But if you go to our website, which I'll show you in just a bit, we can, as we get locations and dates confirmed, we will update our website.
Who can evaluate my out-of-state driving record?
That's a great, I'm sorry, can you ask the question again?
Who can evaluate my out-of-state driving record?
That's a great question. So we wouldn't be able to evaluate your out-of-state driving record, but what we can do is through our friends at our CDL help desk, our commercial driver's license help desk, we can determine if you have an out-of-state suspension or revocation that will prevent you from getting a license here. And if you do have that, we can look up phone numbers or contact information for the Secretary of State or the DMV, Department of Motor Vehicles, in that other state to figure out who you need to contact to clear up whatever you have going on in that other state so that you would be eligible to get a license here.
Another question, when is it possible to start?
To start what part? Sorry.
I'm not really sure. I think maybe they mean to start working with you.
Okay. For the questioner, if you don't mind clarifying, just I want to make sure I answer your question in the best way that I can. And while we're waiting for that, I will pull up our website just so I can show folks.
They went ahead and deleted their question. So should we move on to the next question?
Sure, go ahead. Mhm.
Okay. Do you help file whatever paperwork is needed?
We do not help file it for you. And particularly, I think that's for folks who may need to have an administrative hearing. But what we do offer is that we will go over the packet with you and let you know what you need to do to submit it to our office. If by chance you already have that ready, and want us to take a peek at it before you submit it, we can do that. And in some cases, we can actually take that with us if you have a copy and take it to submit that to our office. But we don't like to take originals because if it gets lost, then that would be that, and you kind of have to start it all over again. So if you brought a copy of it with you to come see us at the clinic, we could look at it and then let you know if there's some issue that you might need to clear up. Because oftentimes there might be just a little thing that you miss, like you forgot to sign something. Or you forgot to have the evaluator sign something that might prevent you from going to the next phase of the hearing process.
Okay, another question. Will we receive a recording of this seminar?
I believe so, but I will leave that to our friends, your friend at Leo, but I do believe you will.
Okay. Here's another question. I recently applied for CDL and it was denied until 2025. I was asking, how soon can we start working with you? Like a start date?
to be able to get the CDO. So you wouldn't be able to do that until that suspension time is lifted. So if you're not eligible until 2025, you can't start working on that until 2025 to be able to get that CDO.
Okay, thank you. Here's
Mhm.
another question. Is this information going out to district courts?
So we do engage with district courts often. So I talk with the court administrators a lot about the clinics and how they can participate with us. But it is a smaller group, I guess, of the 90 some district courts that we have across the state, because I'm typically talking to the district courts that we want to invite to be on site with us at the clinics. But we do engage with the district courts often, and also in our office, we have a court liaison, and that court liaison engages with district courts often, not only about our clinics, but also about all the other items that we have at the department.
Okay, we have no further questions in the Q&A.
So what I would just like to do is go over, if we have time to go over the website, and that might bring up additional questions, or if not, I can turn it back over to Leo. So when you go to the website, if you go to michigan.gov/R2R, it will bring up this website here. And what is helpful, if you just refresh the website, then it will pull up, let's see, there we go. Then it will pull up this here. And hopefully, can you all check to make sure, are you able to see the website okay?
Yes, we're good.
Okay, great. So what it will do is it will do by distance. What is the next clinic to you? What you can also do, if you click here, you can see a map and you can see what is nearest to you. So this gray button here is where you're located. So for me, I'm in Lansing, and then it'll tell you the clinics that are closest to you or nearby. And you can zoom out and you'll see that's where Marquette will be popped up. In just a little bit, Houghton will pop up over here about, St. Ignace will pop up over here about. We're also going to do Gaylord, so that will be around here somewhere. Petoskey, you get the point, right? What is also helpful is if you go up here to the beginning stages of the clinic, you can click on the flyer. You can click on the Road to Restoration Explainer, and that will give you a PDF that explains what we do at the clinics in more depth than I did today. It will, there's also a clinic guide that is great to have. We also have them on site with us at the clinics, and it'll tell you about the step-by-step process on one side, and on the back, it will show you, I'll pop it out. It'll give you notes. So like this. So you check in, it tells you about the step-by-step for the clinics. You check in, you get your driver's driving record, speak to an attorney, pay fines and fees if you're able to do so, and check out. And on the back side of the document is clinic notes. And this is helpful for residents to be able to remember what they did with us at the clinic, so that you have a document that of your road to restoring your driving privilege. So you can say who you spoke to, whether it is our staff or attorneys, and then what is your next step? Do you have to pay fines? Do you have to pay fees? Do you need a MDOS hearing, or do you need something else? And then there's lines available for you to take notes in case the attorney or somebody at the department said something that you really wanted to remember. There's a space for you to take notes. And then here, over time, we have cultivated some great phone numbers for you to be able to contact people. Of course, you can always contact us at the Department of State at our information center. This is a number for our administrative oversight in our hearings department. And that's for if you need to have a hearing, that's who you can contact there as well. Our driver assessment team. So if you needed to have an assessment from that team, or you ask for one and just waiting to hear back when is it scheduled, that's who you can contact there. If by chance if by chance you paid something to the department and something else came out of your bank account and now the check bounced, that has the potential of suspending your license. And so you want to get that cleared up as well. And so you can contact Eaton County prosecutor's office, because if that happens and it's on the books for too long, it may be transferred over to the Eaton County prosecutor's office. There's information about 211, about all the places that, all the district courts that have a virtual court option. And then also, if you need to have a substance abuse evaluation, here's a link from the Department of Health and Human Services that lists all of the substance abuse, or many, I shouldn't say all, many of the substance abuse evaluators across the state that you can engage with. We don't endorse anyone, but this just gives you a helpful hint. So these are just helpful numbers and websites for you to engage with as you're going about your own restoration path.
We have,
Oh, go ahead.
yeah, we have something in the chat.
Okay.
Casey is making an offer for assistance. She said, I work on a Hannahville Indian community in Menominee County in the Upper Peninsula. If you ever need a place to host a clinic in this area, I would gladly help facilitate that.
Awesome. That's fantastic. Thank you so much. If you don't mind sending me an email to Michigan, mdos-r2r@michigan.gov. I don't see where I can put that in the chat, but if somebody can help me out, or I will bring that back up, that slide up that I had earlier, and that will give you my contact information. That would be fantastic. Thank you so much.
Yeah, could you bring up your contact slide again?
Sure. Just go to mdos-r2r@michigan.gov, and that's how you can contact us. And I'm sure these slides will be sent out later, so if you're not able to grab it, I'm sure my good friend Mike will get it to you. He knows how to get to me, so if you contact Mike Jarvis, I'm sure he'll get to me too. Any other questions?
We have no more questions in the chat, in the Q&A.
Okay. Well, I guess I will turn it back over to you all at Leo. Thank you so much for having me here today. I hope this is both informational and helpful for your constituents as they navigate their path to regaining their driving privileges. We are here to help bring the government to all of our Michiganders. And so if there's anything that we can do to be more of support, particularly with our Michiganders with disabilities, please do let us know. Thank you so much.
Rest of your day.
Thank you.